Hello, this is Cho of the Shiny Colors Discord. Welcome to another analysis of Grade Fest for the month of March. Remember that all of this information is based on the top 100s of grade 5 through 7 when applicable. Grades 1 through 4 are not included because there's no real consistent pattern and there's less impact of the meta the lower you go. This is of course not indicative of all the entire grades, but helps put into perspective the types of teams that are finding success in each season. February's final Grade Fest and the lead into March would be introduced with Kaho 7, a pure dance card that created a new 3-piece core for Dance Hokura. While the numbers for this season were generally positive for said team, they would quickly fall off as the seasons would progress and Kaho lost her Fest bonus. In no surprise to anyone, Dance Straylight stole the show in this particular season, commanding the top spot in Grade 7 with over 30% of the top 100 consisting of them. However, with help of semi-recent supports like late Mikoto, Visual Nocchill saw their upswing in Grade 5 and Grade 6 this time around, just barely taking the spot from Straylight in Grade 6, and had a commanding lead in Grade 5. Don't misunderstand, however. This season, 85% of the top 100 were Dance in Grade 7, 65% in Grade 6, and 28% in Grade 5. Vocal and Visual, despite having Visual Nocchill doing all the heavy lifting, couldn't hold a candle to the sheer number of dance teams and their consistency. The second season was ushered in with Madoka 4, a mixed unit for dance and visual who brought very little to the table for Nocchill as it stood. She couldn't replace Madoka 3 in visual, and Dance Nocchill was merely a concept rather than a fully fledged team. Dance once again paved the way this season with a commanding 82% play rate in Grade 7. If it wasn't for Vocal Nocchill and Straylight grasping at their 4% total, 2% each, then Vocal would have had zero representation during the cycle. Also, keep in mind, I actually completely forgot to get the numbers for Grade 6 and Grade 5 this season. I was super busy that last day, so the only numbers we have are available via a lovely bot available on Twitter that tracks the numbers for the top 100 of Grade Fest, including all the teams in order, and I'll have a link to it in the description. Big shoutouts to them for helping me be able to do this page in particular, otherwise it would have been kind of blank. The biggest surprise was that Straylight, in a mostly favorable season, was dethroned by Illumine by 2%. The first real blow to their reputation since hitting full power. As unsurprising as it is, a permanent banner offered no real shakeup in terms of what happened with team builds during this season, even if the Visual May support release during this time was actually pretty alright. Just wasn't enough to give Visual the fighting chance it wanted. The last season for the month of March gave us the Fuyuko 5 banner, a vocal unit that, while strong, offers nothing really of note that Vocal Straylight wasn't doing already with Fuyu 3 or whatever Fuyu offered the most bonus points. What we will see from this banner, however, is the rise of Miko Mono, who helped elevate Rainbow Illumine to being more of an actual team, even if their numbers aren't all that convincing. This paired up with the Rainbow Yuika support who appeared on Kaho 7's banner, would also begin showing up on more of these Illumine teams. This was another dance season, with Straylight once again at the top in Grade 7, but losing out to Alstroemeria in Grade 6, and Illumine in Grade 5. Unlike the previous season, we would see a few more vocal teams pop up in each grade, especially in Grade 5. Fuyuko's recency bias would give Vocal Stray enough points to secure some better ranks, at least in Grade 5. Now, generally speaking, there was no real big development that happened throughout this month to shake the foundation of Fest. While we would eventually see more usage of the Rainbow Yuika support on Illumine, especially near the end, and a growing usage of Miko Mono, it hasn't left quite enough of an impact to say that it's any better or worse than running the established Dance Illumine we've seen already. Dance Hokura, even after getting Kaho 7, saw a rapid decline in player numbers in the top 100, possibly to account for the loss of Fest points as Natsuha and Kaho became too popular in previous seasons to maintain their high scores. Despite having relatively low play rate in the top 100, it's possible that their numbers are a bit higher in the lower half of the spectrum, which resulted in them losing their overall score. And of course, teams like Visual Nocchill are still surviving in this current meta. They are really the only visual team that's had any sort of reasonable success in the last couple of months, with the small exception being Visual Illumine, ran by Meguru, which doesn't see a ton of play but does have its uses here and there. It's a lot more niche, surprisingly, than Rainbow Illumine, but it is something to look out for as well. For the standout supports of the season, Daikichi Kogane continues to be the support card everyone runs because her impact is still way too important. She's caused Fest scores to skyrocket in terms of what's required to even promote in most cases nowadays. To give you an idea, before the turn of the year, the requirement for top 100 in grade 7 was 168k points, and number 1 was 183. The border at the end of March, so the end of the Fuyuko 5 banner, was 176k, with the number 1 being 192. For many teams, finding that extra 8,000 to almost 9,000 points is the difference between running plenty of high point bonus units and chaining link appeals. The latter can't happen without Fest judges having high defense or a sizable health bar, so Stall Fest or cards like Kogane that essentially force Stall Fest are what secure these scores for those teams. No other support comes close to offering the utility that Kogane does for teams that want to score higher, and as such, has inflated the borders in a pretty rude way for a lot of teams that don't have the opportunity to use her or use that card to their advantage. As for the standout teams, it's hard to say anything about this month's Fest results that hasn't been said about previous. Dance Straylight continue to be one of the most consistent teams in the current meta, with their ability to play through every Fest type with relative ease. With that said, the power of future vision lets us know that something will change for at least one Fest cycle after this, and Straylight will meet their match, but until then, they reign supreme. Dance Illumine continue the course with very little changes to their builds even after the introduction of Yuika and Mono. We would only see this change for Rainbow realistically, with maybe 1 to 2 teams at least switching over to the new Yuika. They remain consistent, if nothing else. March would see the reruns of Amana 4 and Tenka 4 helping secure visual Alstromeria pieces for producers that still wanted to build them. And to their credit, Visual Alstro did have teams in the top 100 for every Fest season since the rerun, so you can call that a definite win for the team, even if the cards themselves are now over 2 years old. The anticipated reruns still stand, but again, I'm worried that it won't be providing a lot for players who are looking to make improvements. While Torter 2 is certainly a card for Vocal Nocchill, the team itself really struggles for being too slow for the current meta. Keep your eyes peeled for better vocal banners as we go, unless Visual gets a ton in one go. Wrapping things up here, the jury prediction, by looking at the present, did not do what one could have hoped for Vocal Hokura and instead is more of a boost towards Visual. Not that it really helps, as Visual in general needs some insane upgrades for limited banners to really hold a candle to Dance or even Vocal at this point in time. It also doesn't help that Visual Hokura is a mostly non-existent team that can't run this jury if they want to run, say, Jury 4 as their center, even though Jury 7 is a fairly competent center for Visual Hokura. While Nocchill and periodically Alstromeria can compete against Dance teams, other teams need not interact if they are not Dance. Vocal, as of the time of this recording, has received new support in the form of Fuyuko. While the question of her being better or worse than New Year's Fuyuko is certainly there, the real positive is that she's a new Vocal Insight for Grad that is more accessible and useful for players. As for teams that feel incomplete or need some extra pieces to get moving, the eyes are still on Dance Nocchill. Also, as of the time of this recording, Vocal Alstromeria received Tenka 7, who gives a boost to a team that has really not been performing well at all previously. April's analysis will look fairly funny when we examine it because of her release and the Fest format that she was released on. More or less every team outside of Rainbow Illumine are complete in the top ranks when you look at their current lineup of cards. So, those who are missing a few pieces should either consider the paid selection ticket of the anniversary to get that missing card that they might need for their builds, or hedge your bets on whatever limited team starts getting support going forward. It's possible we could see Visual Hokura, Dance Nocchill is certainly also on the radar, maybe something for Vocal Alstromeria, and Antika certainly needs some new cards in order to compete in the meta, as they have been mostly irrelevant outside of Kogane's support being the support card of the game currently. And that will do it for the video. Thank you so much, as always, for watching. Wanted to get this one done a little quickly, so I didn't go into too much depth on the slides per se, but if you want to get better detail, feel free to pause the video when each slide shows up, so you can keep an eye on what graphs for which grades are interesting to you. With that being said, see you for the next video in April, and of course for any other videos on the channel. Till next time, I've been Cho, thanks for watching, have a wonderful rest of your day.